Okay, so one minor little change to the UK turn. The destroyer in Sea Zone 45 is going to move to Sea Zone 21. That was one move that my opponent just sort of reconsidered and neglected to mention in his turn. So we're moving the destroyer from 45 to 21. Okay, welcome to the Minor Allies turn 4. Canada has 14 IPCs and will be spending none of it. They're going to be saving all of their money and banking it for the next turn. The ANZAC forces have 23 IPCs to spend. They're going to spend 7 on a new transport, 10 on a new fighter, 4 on a new artillery, and they're going to save 2 IPCs for their next turn. The Canadians have no movement whatsoever. The French and ANZAC have no combat movement whatsoever, but there are non-combat moves for both the French and the ANZAC. So here's what's happening with the ANZACs. It's pretty contained to this general area here. So they're going to load 1 artillery onto this transport, and the transport and the battleship are going to move 1, 2 to New Guinea and pick up this guy, and then move 3 into Sea Zone 33, where the infantry and artillery will be dropped off in the Carolines, and the naval units will join the Americans there. This cruiser in Sea Zone 54 will also go to Sea Zone 33. The infantry in Queensland will move south into New South Wales, and the 2 fighter planes will make their way over to Southeast Asia. One will land in India and one will land in Yunnan. Both of those are 6 spaces away. So, other than that, the French have 2 non-combat moves. This destroyer in Sea Zone 80 will join the very modest British fleet in Sea Zone 39, and the infantry in Anglo-Egyptian Sudan will join the 2nd Infantry in the defense of Egypt. Okay, let me tidy up the board and we'll be back in a sec. Okay, placement of new units. The new transport is going into Sea Zone 62. The new artillery is going into New South Wales, and the new fighter is going into New South Wales. So in terms of income, nothing has changed for anybody. So this is the income situation. The Canadians saved 14 IPCs from the last turn. They pick up 7. They do get their 3 IPC bonus for having a unit in Syria, which is originally French-controlled territory. And then the ANZAC forces collect 17 IPCs. They get a 5 IPC bonus for controlling, the Brits control Malaya, and they have all their original territories. They get a 5 IPC bonus for Dutch New Guinea, New Britain, and Solomons, and they saved 2 IPCs for the last turn. So the Canadians have 14, 17, 19, 24 IPCs for next turn. The Aussies have 17, 27, 29, but they do have a convoy situation here in Sea Zone 42. So let's have a look. They will lose 2 IPCs for the convoy. So we'll take those 2 IPCs away, and so they have 17, 27 IPCs to spend for next turn. Okay, so disposition of forces. Canadians all over there in Ottawa. Okay, 2 infantry, 1 artillery, and 1 tank in Ontario. In North Africa, they do have 1 infantry in all that mess in Cairo, and they have 1 infantry in Syria, but that is the extent of the Canadian forces on the board. The French forces, while we're here, 2 infantry in Cairo, and 1 destroyer in Sea Zone 39. Okay, the Aussies. Let's start over here. In their home territory, Sea Zone 62, there is a transport. In New South Wales, there's an anti-aircraft artillery, an artillery, 2 infantry, and 1 fighter. In Queensland, there's an anti-aircraft artillery. And over here in New Zealand, there's an infantry. Up in Carolines, with a bunch of American forces, there's an infantry and an artillery. And then in Sea Zone 33, there is a cruiser, a battleship, and a transport. Over in Java, there is an artillery. Over in Shan State, there's a fighter. Over in Yunnan, there's a fighter. And over in India, there's a fighter. So that is all of the minor allied forces on the board. We will make a rather momentous change over here. We are changing the turn marker from 4 to 5, and what that means is Germany is up next. Let's see what they're going to do, especially with that.